Okay, hey guys, so this is part 2 of the build video, and I went ahead and I installed the XSR receiver and the video transmitter here to the bottom of the top plate. I have the video transmitter zip tied here, and I just have the XSR receiver stuck on the bottom of the top plate with some double-sided foam tape there. And the reason I did this way is because the components have connectors here for the video transmitter and a connector here for the receiver. So if I just disconnect these connectors, this top plate can be easily removed, and it's mostly for convenience if I need to get inside to do any repairs or adjustments later on. And I decided to switch out this video transmitter. So I was originally going to use this video transmitter, and I decided to switch to the ET200R just because it is a little bit more convenient to make channel changes. With this video transmitter on the bottom of the top plate here, with the dip switches, it's going to be a little bit more challenging, actually quite a bit more difficult to switch channels. I would have to remove the top plate every time I wanted to change a channel. And with the ET200R, I just have to push this little button here, which is going to be still pretty accessible, even with the top plate screwed on. And I'll still be able to see the LEDs for the channel indicators. So that's why I made that switch. So the camera I'm going to use is this. It's the RunCam PZ0420M. It's going to be kind of tight getting this in here, but I think it'll just barely fit. And I'm going to have to come up with a creative way to mount this. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I definitely could have used like one of those tiny micro cameras for sure, and that would fit easily. I just decided I wanted to go with a CCD camera for this build. So in the Naze 32, I still need to figure out how to do my battery voltage and my buzzer, and I'm going to directly solder the ESC signal wires here, and also I need to get 5 volts to the flight controller over here. So I'm going to do some wiring from the PDB to the Naze. Okay, hey guys, so I discovered a little problem using the RunCam PZ0420M camera. It doesn't look like I'm going to have enough propeller clearance here for the 3-inch Diatone propeller. If this camera moves even just a touch, it'll touch the propellers when it's spinning. So I think I'm going to have to use a different camera. You can hear right here, as it's passing by, it's touching. Okay, hey guys, so I think I'm going to use the this micro camera that I hacked in my other video. It's a CMOS camera. I really wanted to use a CCD camera, but I think that space is going to be a problem. And this does fit, and I tested the propeller, and it does clear it. So I think I can go ahead and use this. But I think before I get to the camera, I think what I want to do is I want to get rid of some of these ESC signal wires here. I'm going to go ahead and connect them to the Naze. I'll connect up these ESC signal wires to the Naze, test it with the battery, and just see if it'll fly. Make sure that the ESCs and the motors are working okay before I proceed with the camera and VTX connections. Okay, so I've cut off the servo connectors on the ESC signal wires here, and I'm actually going to get rid of the black ground wire because it's not really necessary. Okay guys, so I got my ESC signal wires soldered onto the bottom of the board here, along with my 5 volt input, which is coming from the PDB on the side for 5 volts. I also attached my buzzer. So I think I should be able to get this configured in Clean Flight, and I can just do a quick test hover. Okay, so I put the top on, and you can see there's a pretty good amount of space there between the receiver, the video transmitter, and the NAS32. Plenty of clearance. Not going to hook up the video transmitter for now, and no camera. I'll do that after I do a test hover. But first I want to update the firmware on the ESCs. I'm sure it's pretty old. And just downloaded the newest BL Heli Suite 16.0. It just came out, I think, a couple days ago. And go ahead and update the firmware through the NAS. Now, I've done a video on this before. I'll put a link to it in the description and also a card up in the corner on how to do your firmware upgrades on your ESC through BL Heli Suite. It's pretty easy. So this is what it looks like when you're flashing your ESCs, and going from 14.0 to 14.5 on these DYS ESCs. I did the first 3 already, and this is the 4th one. So these are my PID settings. I'm on Lux Float and stock settings. And here are my rates. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on the video transmitter. And I've got the connector here that's going to go to the video transmitter. And I'm just going to cut these wires, directly solder the power over here probably for the video transmitter, and then solder these wires to the camera for power, video, and audio, and bring those wires through to the front. So it should be pretty straightforward. Okay, so I just want to show you how I'm sort of lining things up here. This is the connector cable for the video transmitter. I'm going to have it routed underneath the NAS here. Have these wires go to the camera, which is right here. And so this will give me an idea how much I need to cut off. And that way I can flip this top over and I can connect up my receiver and my video transmitter and have the correct length of wires. And then this is the power for the video transmitter. It's going to go right there. And it's kind of hard to see, but on this PDB right there where it says VCC next to the 12, I just put a little solder bridge there to indicate that these that the power for the VTX pads here should be just battery power and not 12 volts. If at some point in the future I want to go to 4S, then I would switch that solder bridge from the VCC to the 12, so that I would get 12 volts out of those pads. So hopefully this will show you a good idea how to lay out your wiring here so that it's easy to get access to the components inside. This is I'm sort of thinking ahead and planning how I want to put all these together, so I can flip this top over, get to the components, and just disconnect these things so that I can do any kind of maintenance I need to do. So I hope this helps you guys. Okay, so there's the camera now wired into that connector, and there it goes out here, and the power is going to the PDB. So at this point I think I should be able to mount the camera and finish up this build. Not sure how I'm going to get the camera mounted. I think this is going to be a challenge. I'll figure something out. Okay, so I've run the FreeSky XSR antennas through these plastic tubes and through the hole in the top plate there, and hot glued the tubes onto the top plate, so it should give protection and keep the antennas nice and stiff and away from the propellers. Okay guys, so I decided to abandon the plastic tubes and I went with the zip ties and heat shrink method for the antennas, and the hot glue I found wasn't really sticking. It pretty much broke pretty much just as soon as I hit it. So if you guys ever use hot glue and carbon fiber, you probably shouldn't. It doesn't work. So back to the heat shrink and zip tie method here for the antennas. And on the camera I decided to actually put the RunCam Owl in here instead of the micro camera. It was giving me a lot of trouble mounting it, so I'm hoping that this one will actually fit better, so I'm going to give that a try too. Okay, here's a quick look at the bottom of the top plate with the video transmitter and the receiver connected. Okay, so the total weight is 159 grams without the battery, and I'll throw this 850 Nanotech 3S on here, and with that battery it brings the total weight to 230 grams. Okay guys, after a lot of fiddling around, I finally got the RunCam Owl to fit, and it's just zip tied in on the top, pretty good angle. Took a little while to get all these things to fit in here with the very narrow prop clearance here, especially here in the front. But in the end, I got everything working. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a look at everything that is inside here, all completed. It's a pretty clean build all around. So this concludes part 2 of the build. Stay tuned for more videos on the maiden flight and tuning of this particular model, and they'll be coming pretty soon on my channel.